A guilty verdict on all but one count for detectives Daniel Herschel and Marcus Taylor. And you were in the courtroom, Amy. It was pretty emotional in there when it came to Detective Herschel.
It was emotional twofold. Herschel was emotional as the jury went down the list of what he was guilty of, but also his family. He had quite a few people watching as the decision was being made. Ironically, Marcus Taylor had absolutely no reaction. It almost seemed like he was expecting a guilty verdict.
And he had kind of a, I don't know, a poker face or was stone faced throughout much of these proceedings. His family was there as well. This is very rare to convict a police officer, let alone two, but part of this may have been because they had 4 other officers who pleaded guilty, and that was some pretty powerful testimony. We're talking things about overtime fraud, about robbing people, and just taking their cash, in some cases taking guns and drugs, and there were 9 victims laid out in this case. Your thoughts after hearing the closing arguments and both sides make their cases? I mean, do you think the defense, obviously they didn't do a good enough job to get him off, but do you think that they did a decent job in trying to sow some reasonable doubt?
I think the defense attorney did a pretty good job poking holes into the witness testimony, making them seem like unreliable sources, witnesses, but it didn't work because the prosecutors did a better job of proving intent, and that these men, just like the other officers who had been at fault, took advantage of the badge and the responsibility and the trust that comes along with that badge.
The police department says that they're moving right now to terminate the employment of both of these detectives. We've also heard statements from the mayor and state's attorney Mosby. The mayor said that the verdict was the right one. Ms. Mosby said that this highlighted some of the things she tried to bring out in those cases regarding Freddie Gray's death. She also believes this was the right verdict, but her office has faced criticism for not handling certain cases properly involving these officers when perhaps they weren't the most reliable of witnesses, people in the gun trace task force. But she said that the verdict as well was the correct verdict and spoke out against police corruption. And I guess that's where we're left right now. Everybody, all the elected leaders are saying they want to bring trust back to the department.
It will be difficult because there was a long history of distrust, and in many ways the result of this case proves a lot of the fears and complaints that a lot of citizens of Baltimore have been saying for years, many of which felt no one believed them. Well, this jury believed them.
And we'll continue to follow this case throughout the coming days. Thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching online.